This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
This Halloween, ghoul all out with Instacart. Whether you're hunting for the perfect costume, eyeing that giant bag of candy, or casting spells with eerie decor, we've got it all in one place. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time, minimum $10 per order, service fees, other fees, and additional terms apply. Instacart, bringing the store to your door this Halloween.
Yo, UK! At BetMGM, we give our players sports betting entertainment like nobody's business. Football, horse racing, darts, boxing, tennis, golf, NFL, NBA. You name it, we got it. Offers? You know it. Bet 10 pounds and get 40 pounds in free bets. BetMGM, it's showtime.
New customers only. Exclusions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Hi and welcome to what is a special away end this time around as we go into the first round of the FA Cup. We are joined today by Joe Coffey from the Sutton United Time podcast. So thank you first of all, Joe, for joining. It's really appreciated. So we go into the game off the back of 4 points from 2 games for Birmingham, seeing them remain top of the table in League One after a 2-0 win at Bolton in midweek and then a 1-1 at Mansfield at the weekend. This has also been followed up by 3 points in 2 games from Sutton, who are currently 12th in the National League, and after what appears to be a very hard-fought 1-0 win at Braintree on Saturday. Stats obviously don't lie, so when it comes to it, possession, Birmingham's still up there in the 70% possession area, but however, we'll say, took a lot of work to keep us in that space. Sunday we'll see Birmingham playing for the first time in 30 years in the first round of the FA Cup. So it has been such a while, but one, of course, that everybody looks forward to, because this is when they say the true power and love of the FA Cup comes to life. So, Joe, again, thank you very much for joining us. Tell us a little bit around the United Talk Time podcast and how you've been about and what sort of things you get up to before we get into the game.
So, as you introduced, I'm Joe. I am 17 years of age, and I first appeared on the Sutton United Talk Time podcast in 2022. And I've been a regular ever since then. Obviously, Mike's the guy who runs it, but I'd like to call myself an up-and-coming regular, a fan favourite, if you will. Yeah, it's a wonderful podcast, similar to yours. You guys is with kind of fans. We're close to I think probably Birmingham being a bigger club, there is probably maybe a bit more distance between probably the club and the fans. There's so many of you. We're probably, if you're a bit more like everyone knows everyone around Sutton, we are still, as much as obviously we've had time in the Football League, we have kind of a community non-league spirit. We are a non-league team at structure and at heart, and you can really tell that, and I hope you guys will see that when you come down to Gander Green Lane next weekend. I'm part of the Sutton United FC TV media team, so I do commentary for our games. I've done National League TV commentaries. I've done MixLR commentaries for our home fan support, and I used to do podcasting for different online firms and do kind of Twitter threads looking at player analysis as well. But we're as you said, it'll be an interesting game. We've had yesterday was a difficult game against Braintree. Braintree is not, it's definitely no St Andrews. If I can say that. It's a very different thing, but I'm sure you coming down to League One, you've been gone to some different grounds than what you've been used to in the last few years. National League is what we're used to. League Two, going up to League Two, going to the likes of Bradford, going to the likes of I don't know, Doncaster, much bigger stadiums with actual complexes, MK. for our last game of last season when we got relegated. We're used to the less furnished, finished look, which, you know, is Braintree's kind of more of the usual than the big clubs. So we would have liked Birmingham the game, which we were like, if we could get Birmingham, that'd be amazing. Because obviously you guys, Birmingham or Wrexham, you know, we're guaranteed a TV day. And we were like, we'd love that. We would have liked it away just because it's a great away day, but it'll be brilliant for the club to get but good bit of money in the mat to score and have a great game at Grangebury Lane, televised on ITV.
Indeed. So, I mean, we're obviously coming down to the VBS Community Stadium on Sunday, 12:30 kickoff, as you mentioned, on ITV. So this is it's the giant killing game ready to happen, and I think it's always good when these come about. And I will say, as soon as that draw was made, my immediate thought was, this is not going to be a 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. And sure enough, it didn't take long to change that over. So obviously, we've mentioned 30 years since Birmingham were playing in the first round of the cup. It's really scary because I've seen some tough and horrible games, and I was at Birmingham when we were knocked out by what was at the time non-league Kidderminster Harriers. So it was tough, but I will say that was the day and the only day that I have applauded the away team off the pitch, because they thoroughly deserved it. And I know that coming down to the stadium on Sunday, this is no walk in the park, you know. Birmingham are going to come up against a team that want to show what they can do. And whilst only a couple of divisions really between us, you know, we've played teams from your league in pre-season, Solihull Moors being one of those. And it was a tough game. And it's pre-season, I know, but it was still tough. So I'm not expecting it to be dead easy and a walk in the park on Sunday. In fact, I'm expecting you to attack us like mad. Which hopefully, if that is the case, we'll put it in for an open side and an open game. But also, you've got a little bit of an arch nemesis for Birmingham in your manager, because Steve Morison actually had many a decent game against us and was part of teams that have turned us over. So tell us a little bit around the team that Steve sets up. You know, what sort of formation should we be looking at? And ultimately, how do you think the game will pan out on the day? And then also, tell us a bit about your players, because I know for our listeners and for myself, I'm not going to lie, I haven't heard of anybody from the Sutton team, but that doesn't make them any better or any worse than anybody else. And in fact, some fantastic non-league players have come in and done fantastic things in the leagues. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about how Steve sets the team up, who to look out for, and ultimately as well, if you've got any weaknesses, and you want to tell us, of course, what are they?
We do have weaknesses. I'll get to that in a minute. So, for context, Steve only became our manager at the start of this calendar year. So we have Sutton are a club. Well, we are a club of kind of consistency. We've only actually had 2 managers since 2008. Paul from 2008 to 2019, and you probably remember Sutton, the big run in the FA Cup to face Arsenal, the whole Piegate controversy with Mr. Wayne Shaw, and kind of beating Leeds at home and getting promoted from the Vanarama National South. And I will say, we are not a League Two club. We are set up to be a lower end, and our club is a National League club, National League South club. That's where we have been for the majority of our history. We've just had an absolute blast the last 10 years. He resigned in 2019, and we got Matt Gray, local, really, really good coach, and he took us on the best 3-4 years of our football club's history. He took us in a season where his objective by the ball was to stay up. He took us to a title win, which was completely in massively difficult circumstances. We're only 2 games were watched by fans in the COVID season. And then we came up to the Football League in 2021, and we're expected to be bottom by miles. And we got the highest points total never to get playoffs in League Two. 76 points didn't get playoffs. 84 points was champions. Shows how close it can be in that league. We then had and that was a ridiculous season. The season after that, and also in that season, we got to the Papa John's Trophy final. Obviously, people mocked the trophy, but it became a real staple of our season. Beating Wigan and James McLean's Wigan on penalties 8-7, and then getting to the final and being 30 seconds away from beating Rotherham at Wembley. And that was a mad season. Then we went on to the next season. Next season finished 14th in League Two, but I think that was even more impressive considering the fact that between October and December, we had 13 fit first team players with a ridiculous injury crisis, and we somehow managed to get through the season, no one in relegation. Wow. And then last season was the end of our journey. We started off with a stunning performance against Notts County, a 5-1 win. Big statement, David McGoldrick, Jody Jones, all these up-and-coming players, Macaulay Longstaff in that team, and we completely played them off the park, and things then fell apart. After that, Matt got sacked after an 8-0 thumping at Stockport, and in came Steve Morrison, and he did, considering where we were at Christmas, like miles adrift, to take us to the final day at the franchise and get a 4-4 draw, and only going down, I believe, by a point or on goal difference. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was a point, but we battled. And that is something you will see from the Steve Morrison team. We battle. Very good players. And as I said, such a team consistency. A lot of the players that were part of a promotion triumph and our success in the league had been with Matt and the team for 3 or 4 years. You had, under Matt, a team which you could guess 7 or 8 or 9 of the starting 11 every week. And they were older, more experienced players, but that was a bit of our undoing last season. Yeah. We basically, after our second season, we changed a bunch of things. It was a real mixed together group. We had a massive squad and it didn't quite work. So this summer, everyone went. Everybody went. From last season, we have in the squad that could play on Saturday, we have 2 players. 2 players of our last season squad. Every other player was signed this summer. And another thing, I think only 2 of our players are above the age of 25. So that's another thing to be interested by. Josh Coley, who I'll mention in a minute, and Steve Arnold, who's 35. I think he's our backup keeper now. They are the only 2 players, and they were the only 2 from last season. Everyone we've signed this summer is under age 25. So that will say a lot about the squad he's trying to build. And a lot of people have said Steve Morrison is trying to build a modern-day National League team. We wanted to get back up to League Two this season. Mm-hmm. It's not been the best start. It's been inconsistent. It's been patchy. There have been some brilliant performances. There have been some rubbish performances. But it screams of a team who are very technically good. For National League, you think of 4-4-2 ping out there and hope someone gets on the end of it. That's not how we play. We play passing football. We're very technically good, and I would say we're one of the best technical sides in the division. However, the youth and inexperience comes in, especially defensively. We concede goals, and like you said, attackers like that. I was just on the Saturn podcast for previewing your game, and I think it will be a very open game as well. I'm sure that your guys will want to attack and impose yourself on the game, because if you don't, I reckon we'll start to play into it. But we've got a young, very fit, very press-heavy squad, and we make teams' life difficult. And when we're on our day, we're a very, very good team if we struggle, but we do leave gaps in our defence. And Steve's made it very clear in interviews that's the way he wants to play. If we play attacking football, the setup is normally it's normally 1 up top, 4 at the back, kind of a 4. It's a 4-2-3-1, and it kind of converts into a 4-2-4, 4-4-3. The wingers are massively important, and you kind of have 1 defensive midfielder sitting back, and then 2 kind of 3 midfielders have different roles. There's 1 DM, very tackle heavy, very kind of just sitting in front of the back 4. We've got 1 midfielder who's spraying passes left, right, and centre, and then helping the striker with a press. And then you've got an attacking midfielder who basically comes alongside the wingers and can move out wide and has got a bit more of a free roam. So that's kind of how we play. And if you're expecting to see us try and, block you out and try and play really dull football, because that is what some non-league sides would do, and I think a lot would do if they were playing a team within your stature, you won't see that on Sunday. You will see a team who will try and take the game to you, because that's how Steve wants to play. He basically says, I'm not here to play boring football. I'm here to play football which you want to see. If there's one thing you can say about Sutton games this season, most of them, they're entertaining. Whether that be for the away or the home end, it's one team. You're going to see some good. You're going to see some good football.
I think this is what we like, because as a Birmingham side, looking at the way we are at the moment, it's very much all based around Chris Davies has a very high press. He's on the front foot for absolutely everything. From a player's perspective, when he picks a team, they know that they're there to fight. And he made it very clear at the start of the season that any player that came into this club would have to fight. And if they didn't, they wouldn't get in the team. But he also made it very clear they wouldn't even train. So actually, he set his stall out very, very early. And that is what we've seen. And, similar to yourself, actually, our team, when we go back over the transfer window, has been completely rejuvenated. And it is a mixture of youngsters who are there to prove what they can do. There were fringe players that have started to come through and really show their prowess as such. But the one thing that we haven't got, I don't think, is we don't see as much in terms of the youngsters from the club that are making their way through. It's all been people brought in. So it'll be a very, very interesting game. I think, firstly, the one thing I can say is you're going to have a very raucous and sell-out away end. Birmingham follow really well no matter where they are. I believe it's something around 1,400, 1,500 tickets that they've got.
1,500, I believe. I was told 1,500 this morning. And
they will, there's no dating. I'll be very, very surprised if that hasn't sold out already, because I think they came out on sale on Friday evening. With the following that we have, I would not be surprised if that's not sold out already. The club have taken the decision. So the ladies were due to play at 2 o'clock on Sunday. Club have actually taken the decision to push that kick-off time back to 3. They're showing the game at St Andrews at Knighthead Park, followed by the ladies' game. So they're making like a family fun day of it all as well. And of course, as we've mentioned, it's on ITV. So for both clubs, it'll be the closest that some of our fans have ever got to the FA Cup. And I'm so pretty sure that that'll be the same for yourselves, because it will no doubt be on show. But you mentioned there around the attacking side of it, and you said a lot of plays down the wings.
Yes.
How does that then fall into the possession type of game? So are you a very high possessive team, or do you tend to, like you say, push forwards, and if you lose out, then you're sitting back and defending deep to prevent things from coming through? How do you generally play?
At BetMGM, we know how to put on a show. So we don't just do offers, we do golden offers like this.
MGM Millions, our supersized jackpot where right now you could win over £21 million.
Get ready for the golden era in online casino. BetMGM, it's showtime.
Minimum 10p game stake. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
We like to have the ball, but we have the inexperience, which means we have to sometimes end up sitting back, and that's when problems come.
Yeah.
That's our weakness. That our defence is our weakness. Our attack, I'd say, is one of the strongest in the National League. We're 12th, but we've scored a lot of goals this season. We do make chances, and we do play attacking, like for defenders, scary stuff.
Yep.
But in defence, that's our problem. We create gaps, and often we're so front foot focused that it just means we're just caught short at the back. And we're fixing that, and you can see that in the way Steve is just adjusting his tactics. Mm-hmm. And I know everyone at the club is completely behind Steve. He's got really good relationship with the players, with the fans. Like the players are very much up for one another. We had an incident, well, not really an incident, but we played Gateshead at home. We lost 1-0 on a Wednesday night, and one of the Gateshead players were being a bit antagonistic towards our fans. And the Gateshead and our players got straight involved, straight in their faces, getting really angry. And that's just something like the connection with the fans is just, it's a really nice thing to see. There were points in our relegation season last season where it was just like, it just felt disconnected, which is obviously difficult. Exactly. It's
what
what relegation does. And I know you lot got relegated last season. It wasn't easy for you. It's sad to watch your club struggle. But when you're having the good times, and it's really nice. I think players for you lot to watch out for. Josh Coley is the first name I'd say. Right winger, amazing on the ball, quick, athletic, like trickster. He runs at play and he's got a wand of a foot on him. He can hit a ball from anywhere.
Yeah.
We've got a bit of a fitness crisis at the moment, so I don't actually know, and we're not 100% sure on who's going to be fit. There's a few players who could make it and who could be really impactful. So we've got Lewis Simper, a magician in midfield. He plays that kind of free roam role. He's got one of the best crosses I've seen in National League at this level. Passes the ball, excellent tackler, probably the most all-round player we have in our team. Jaden Harris, who I'm sure will be up for it. If there's anyone that's going to start a scrap, it's Jaden Harris. Suspended yesterday for 5 yellow cards, in the referee's face all the time, in the opposition's face. He's happy to go for anyone. Big, tall, imposing, leads that press, takes responsibility, never stops running. And that is that modern kind of National League fitness thing. Will Davies, our number 9, kind of more stereotypical non-league, tall, strong, battles, false 9 sometimes, laying off. He's got a great touch on him, but also a really kind of instinctive poacher who can just get on the end of the ball. Defensively, don't know who will start. Charlie Waller. We've got a bit of a mixed up defence at times this season, but Charlie Waller, you'll see him if he plays. Left centre back, blonde, young, on loan from MK Dons. He was so highly rated at MK Dons. So many fans were shocked he'd come out on loan to National League for 6 months. And I'll be gutted if he leaves. I hope they extend his loan to the end of the season.
Yeah.
I hope Scott Lindsay does, because he's a brilliant player. He's had a bit of a rough few weeks, but he's a very good defender, good going forward as well. Realistically, the one thing I can say about our team is when we put in a performance, we're so good to watch. But when we struggle, we really do struggle. And I hope that we I think we'll be up for it. And I'm really just looking forward to see our team play, because there is, I can name so many players in this team. Our captain is Tyler French, tall, had an excellent game at Braintree yesterday. He's only 25, first captaincy role, but the team is all responsible for one another. It's not massively relying on him. Edwino Vaz, very, very short left back, who has the best long range efforts I've seen. If you have the time, scored an absolute perler at Eastleigh earlier this season. I was commentating on it, about 25 yards out, and he just curls it. And it's literally, you couldn't place it any better, top left-hand corner at the keeper. It's just the gap between the keeper and the post is that much, and it fits the ball through. Wonderful player. A Coley on loan from Millwall, never loses an aerial. He'll cause, I don't know who will start, Dykes, Stanfield, May, all of them brilliant strikers, Joe Stansfield, 15 million, Lyndon Dykes playing against England in the Euros, Alfie May, like one of the best goal scorers like Erling Haaland and Andy Cook over the last year or two. So, you've got your striking options are brilliant, but Chinwike Okoli is massive and he don't lose an aerial ever. So the way you will get goals is you'll stretch the play and you'll make those balls in behind, and then you'll get in behind us. If you're looking to target us directly, I think you'll struggle, because we will beat you out the game.
Yeah.
And as you said, we'll be a raucous crowd. I'm sure there'll be some to and fro between the home and away fans. I will be part of that. Obviously, there won't be, there's no real media stuff to do, because I was told there's no media stuff to do, but I was going up to the media guy. I was going to say, he came up to me and said, "Yeah, nothing for Birmingham, obviously, because it's ITV, and there's no point doing anything for it." But I was just going to say, I'm not doing it. I'm a fan first, and this is a massive day for my club, and I want to be in that home end. And my mate, the moment he saw the draw, he was watching the draw live with me, texted me and said, "Get me a ticket the moment you can." And I bought it from today. So he can't wait. So it's going to be a really, really exciting day. And no matter the scoreline, we're on telly in the FA Cup, and anything can happen in the FA Cup, as we know. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the Gander Green Lane stewards. Always really highly praised from away fans. Don't take the mic, but they'll start a song for you or something, or they'll give you a bit of exactly. So they're a good lot. So the home end now at Gander Green Lane used to be the away end last season. So you're in our kind of the home end used to be called the Parkside Terrace, and that's where you lot will be, and you'll be in the kind of La Curva stand. And a lot of home fans, that was their place for 2-3 years in the Football League, and we've had to move to the probably more loud Collingwood Road end. So you'll get to be where we've been for the last 3 years. It's not as nice as our end, but it's still it's got a lot of memories for us. So enjoy it. I'm sure if it's a nice day, you'll be out on the terraces, and there's like, if you go on the top terraces of the Curva stand, you'll know. If you see a picture, or when you go there, you'll see what I mean. But you get a brilliant view of the entire pitch, great photos. But it will be a wonderful, wonderful crowd. I'm sure it'll be packed. I know that I think we've sold 85% of our home tickets already, and I'm sure that'll be more on the day. I think it'll be sold out. I think it's it'll be like a Wimbledon game if they came, or Bromley. It's as big as a derby for us. And first round, I've had a few good years. We've had a difficult few times. We lost to Farnborough in the first round, but we battled through Chertsey in the fourth qualifying round, because we've entered the first round the last few years, but normally we've had to battle through the qualifying rounds in years gone by. 3-1 win. They made it difficult for us. They're 2-3 leagues below us. That's not an easy game. We managed to battle through it. They took the lead. Exactly. Small 2,000 capacity. I couldn't go because I didn't get a ticket, because our allocation ran out, but I was listening to it on the radio, and the radio was surrounded by Chertsey fans, and you could just hear a 9-year-old scream, break his ankles at one of the Sutton players, and I was like, that's a proper FA Cup. So I'm sure, no matter what, for all Birmingham fans, as much as, there'll be a bit of to and fro, I'm sure, because it's the Nation FA Cup, we just want to have a great day out. And I think if you could, like, I'm sure from a Birmingham point of view, if you win close. Don't win by 4 or 5, because then we'll just be dejected and sat there in the home and saying, well, this is a parallel after. Because we were talking earlier, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my Saturday now, because Saturday's football day. And now, now it's Sunday. I'm like, oh, no, because normally I do like schoolwork on Sunday, so I'm like, I've got to do work on a Saturday now. I was like, oh, but that's the agreement. But yeah, I can't wait, and I'm sure, yeah, you'll love it. It's a proper old school ground, good food, and yeah, just genuinely get yourself down here. I'm sorry about the trains if they're up the creek. They normally are.
We're used to it. We can't catch a train to our stadium, let alone anywhere else. So don't worry about that. And I'm sure.
For away fans, I would say. So there's. I don't think there are trains running. So West Sutton is the station, 2 minutes away from the ground. This is for away fans. And I don't know if trains are running through there. If they are, you're fine. If you have to go from Sutton, to walk through the city centre, but I'm sure if any Sutton fan will ask you, they will just direct you in the right way, because realistically it's about a 15-20 minute walk. It's not too bad. It's a nice area ish, so it's fine. But if the trains will likely not run through West Sutton, because that's just what happens. It's just trains. You know what I mean?
So I normally do a section. When I'm doing it with our division's opponents, we always have a section where I talk about managers that have crossed paths. Well, it's never happened. We talk about games of the past and what the results are like. It's never happened. However, we do have a player that has represented both clubs. Believe it was a loan spell with yourselves.
I've got him.
Hey, I'm liking this. So come on then. Who has represented both Sutton and Birmingham?
Mr. Midfield Maestro himself, saved us and almost packed us up last season, Mr. Charlie Lakin.
It is indeed.
Excellent player. Oh, I don't know how much he played for you guys, but last season he was the star in a dismal season. Brilliant, scored brilliant goals, wonderful pass for the ball, and there was hope he would stay next season. He's doing brilliantly for Walsall at the top of League Two now, but he was absolutely brilliant. It was an inspired signing from Steve, and to get him on loan from Burton last season. But he completely changed the path of our season. He wasn't captain, but he led like a captain. Just so dynamic, so good on the ball. But yeah, because you said, and I was like, hang on. And I know, because he's a Birmingham fan, I remembered, I was like, hang on, isn't Charlie? And then I was like, oh, I came from the youth academy. I was like, yeah, that makes sense now. But yeah, Charlie Layton.
No, well done on that one. And as we get to the end of this, I always do the part that most people hate, which is actually the prediction. So
This Halloween, ghoul all out with Instacart. Whether you're hunting for the perfect costume, eyeing that giant bag of candy, or casting spells with eerie decor, we've got it all in one place. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time, minimum $10 per order, service fees, other fees, and additional terms apply. Instacart, bringing the store to your door this Halloween.
everybody has a prediction in their heart. Everybody has a prediction in their head. I mean, the one thing I will turn around and say, by the way, is I have no idea at all what Birmingham side you will see on Sunday. Chris Davies could decide that he's going to go with a full-strength side. He may well see a few changes. It'll be interesting because we've got a midweek game in the Bristol Street Motors Cup, and I think the team that turns out there will very likely be close to what you see on Sunday. And for the past couple of those, he hasn't made many changes. You might see Lucas Djukovic in the team, because then that would be interesting, because the one thing you said was you've got a centre-half who you wouldn't beat in the air. I've got to say there is no better header of the ball when it is put in the right position. So that one could be interesting. Will you see Stansfield? Will you see May? I really don't know. You know, he might rest him, but then he hasn't in the Bristol Street Motors. So yeah, it'd be good to see. So tell us then, what does your heart say and what does your head say in terms of prediction for the game?
My heart says a 2-1 win for us. My heart wants to say that, but my head says you're a very good team. You're top of League One for a reason, and we're mid-table. I think we'll play with our heart on our sleeves, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was fiery, if there were cards, if there were goals, if there was controversy. I would not be surprised. I think we'll play it up for the cameras. I think that's the kind of, we're a showman. We're full of showmen. Steve Morrison being one of them. I'd bet money almost on him getting a yellow.
I expect it.
Yeah. So I think my heart goes 2-1 win for Sutton, but my head goes to a 3-1 win for you. I said on the Sutton podcast, I said I'm saying a 4-3 win for us with a goalkeeper last minute winner. But I feel like, if I'm being realistic, it's unlikely. But I'm 100% not ruling it out, because I know on our day we're a really good team.
Yep. So I mean, for myself, I really don't know how to call it. I really, really don't, because it is the magic of the FA Cup. It is that giant killing opportunity, and I've seen it before. I have seen a non-league side knocking Birmingham out the FA Cup in the first round. I don't ever want to see that again. However, on the day, the better team will take the results away. So well, let's go with my head first. My head says it'll be 2-0, maybe 3-0. I don't think it'll be an absolute tonking at all. I really don't, because I expect a lot from Steve's team. He is very, very passionate, and like you said, the team sets up that way. My heart, though, if there's one thing, right, if we've taken a 3-0 lead and there's 10 minutes to go, and I always watch it when I watch the FA Cup myself, I always like the smaller teams to score, because I don't think there is anything any better and more jovial than seeing the fans at that point in time. And you know, we've seen games where it's been 5 or 6-0 and then they've scored, and it's almost as though they've won the FA Cup. And that's what it's all about. But also on the day, this is about additional revenue for the club. You know, I've seen in the past the stats that sometimes the income keeps a club going for a season and a half, depending on where they are positioned. I don't think that's necessarily the case with yourselves. But, you know, it's still a hefty sum of money that's going to come in. And, yeah, here's for a great game. So I'll go, my heart says, I'm actually going to go with 3-0 from my heart. But my head says, there's look, no, I'm going to change that. My head says 3-0, but my heart says I want it to be 3-1. I want you to score, I really do. And I want it to be a good day for all.
We'll make it. I want it to be good for the neutral. Simple as. I think it's an advertisement for good football, and there's been controversy about this whole FA Cup replay thing, and it could go to extra time, could go to penalties. I still think that's a very. It's not a good decision because FA Cup replays are massive. Like if we got a 1-1 draw at our place, you're going to get at least 1,000 Sutton fans coming up to St Andrews on a Tuesday night.
Exactly.
And it's going to be brilliant. And we'd have a party and we'd probably get slapped around the park because you'd be at home. But, it's a different atmosphere to what a lot of your players will be used to. A different pitch. We train on our pitch sometimes, so we'll be much more used to it. So we'll make it horrible. We'll make it a horrible atmosphere for you not to play it. And you're not as detached from maybe the fans as you might be at some of the bigger grounds. Like if you're in the box for a corner at our home end, you're you're probably about 8-10 feet away from us, and we'll make you exactly. And I've had it this season. I've gone to pre-season games where I did commentary at Dartford, and I think a Dartford player took a throw from a foot away from me. And I was like, I said on the commentary, I was like, I can't quite describe what's going on because I'm blocked by two Dartford players standing in front of me. So I said, I'm going to hand over to my commentary partner because he's sat to the left of me. That's non-league football for you. But I can't wait.
No, it's going to be good. Well, Joe, thank you very much again for joining me on the away end. Here is to a great game at the weekend. And like you say, a game that's a credit to the FA Cup that all fans enjoy. I know the Birmingham fans are looking forward to it, and I'm sure the Sutton fans are also. So here's to a great game on Sunday. Thank you very much indeed again, and enjoy and keep right on. Thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you very much, Greg.
UK. At BetMGM, we give our players sports betting entertainment like nobody's business. Football, horse racing, darts, boxing, tennis, golf, NFL, NBA. You name it, we got it. Offers? You know it. Bet £10 and get £40 in free bets. BetMGM, it's showtime.
New customers only. Exclusions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
How did you actually sleep last night? If it didn't feel like your very best rest, then you need to upgrade to the softest, most luxurious bedding from Boll & Branch. Their signature sheets are made from the finest 100% organic cotton and get softer with every wash. Millions of sleepers love their sheets, and right now, you can feel the difference for yourself during their biggest sales of the entire year. Hurry to bollandbranch.com to shop their best offers. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.